A snowstorm is unfolding right now across parts of the southeast, and what's happening this morning is genuinely remarkable. Today is Sunday, January 18th, 2026, and as I'm putting this together in the early morning hours, snow is already developing across portions of Georgia, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. Winter storm warnings extend all the way down to the Interstate 10 corridor in Florida. 2 winters in a row, these areas are seeing accumulating snow. For the younger generation growing up in the Deep South, they might start thinking this is what winter is supposed to look like, but trust me, this is exceptionally rare. Let me walk you through what's happening right now and what to expect through the rest of the day, because this system still has some tricks up its sleeve. Looking at the current radar, everything is evolving roughly as expected, but with a notable twist. The moisture has pushed slightly further northwest than some models showed, and there's already snow showing up on radar over the Birmingham area. The cold air is working into the moisture on the backside of this system, and where that interaction is happening, we're seeing the transition from rain to snow. By the way, if you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now let's move on. The dynamics of this storm create a fascinating and frustrating pattern. The blue colors on radar indicating snow are showing up across southeast Alabama and the western Florida Panhandle. The green and yellow colors indicating rain dominate through central Georgia and into the Carolinas. The cold air is literally racing the moisture, and wherever the cold air wins that race, you get snow. Here's the critical update on watches, warnings, and advisories that changed overnight. Winter storm warnings now extend all the way to Dothan, Alabama. This is significant. Southeast Alabama has been upgraded to winter storm warnings, joining the central Georgia counties that were already under warnings. The warning area includes Albany, Perry, Warner Robins, Macon, and Dublin in Georgia, plus Dothan and surrounding communities in Alabama. Winter weather advisories have expanded as well. They now extend up to Athens and Augusta in Georgia. The Florida Panhandle from Panama City through areas west of Tallahassee has winter weather advisories for accumulating snow. Let me give you the timing and evolution for today, starting from south to north. For southeast Alabama, including Dothan, Enterprise, and Ozark, snow is developing right now and will intensify through the morning hours. The HRRR model shows 1 to 2 inches of accumulation, and I think that's very achievable. The National Weather Service is forecasting similar amounts. The heaviest snow falls between now and late morning, then tapers off. If you're in this area and you love snow, get out there and enjoy it. Build a snowman with your kids. This is going to be that perfect, wet, clumpy snow with flakes the size of $50, ideal for snowball fights and snowmen. By this afternoon, temperatures will climb and melting will begin, so take advantage of it while it lasts. For the Florida Panhandle, including Panama City, Mariana, and areas west of Tallahassee, this is your moment. The HRRR model shows 2 to 3 inches possible in the Panama City area. Now, I need to caveat that these totals assume a standard snow ratio, and with temperatures this marginal, the actual accumulation might be somewhat less. But accumulating snow in the Florida Panhandle for the second consecutive January is remarkable regardless of the exact total. The National Weather Service is forecasting about an inch for areas north of Panama City. Tallahassee is right on the fringe and may see a brief changeover to snow, but accumulation there is less certain. For central and south-central Georgia, including Macon, Warner Robins, Albany, Dublin, and Americus, this is the jackpot zone. Winter storm warnings are in effect for good reason. The National Weather Service has a bullseye of 2 to 3 inches just south-southeast of Macon. I think some spots in this corridor could see amounts approaching the upper end of that range or slightly higher where the heaviest bands set up. This is a big deal for this area. An inch or 2 of snow can trigger winter storm warnings in the Deep South because the impacts are so significant for a region unaccustomed to winter weather. For Augusta and the South Carolina-Georgia border, the cold air battle reaches its most intense point right along the state line. Augusta has a legitimate shot at accumulating snow, perhaps an inch if the cold air works in efficiently. The HRRR model shows the snow hitting a brick wall right at the South Carolina border. This is one of the most frustrating aspects of this forecast. You can literally draw a line along the state boundary where snow chances drop dramatically. For the South Carolina Midlands, including Columbia, Orangeburg, and Sumter, this is the warm bubble zone that models have consistently shown. Current surface temperatures are in the mid-40s with dew points nearly as high. The cold air hasn't worked in yet, and by the time it does, the heaviest moisture may have already passed. The base expectation is a cold rain with perhaps a brief changeover to snow at the very end. However, and I want to emphasize this, if the cold air crashes in faster than expected or if precipitation rates are higher than modeled, a surprise switchover to heavy wet snow is not impossible. This system has tricks up its sleeve. For the North Carolina Piedmont and Triangle, including Charlotte, Greensboro, Raleigh, and Fayetteville, this is another high uncertainty zone. The HRRR model shows limited snow, keeping most of this area in rain. The NAM model, however, shows a much different solution with a corridor of accumulating snow from Greensboro through Raleigh to Fayetteville and up into southeast Virginia. The NAM has been aggressive with snow in this area, then backed off, then gotten aggressive again. It's been a windshield wiper of uncertainty. My honest assessment is that a swath from Greensboro to Raleigh into southeast Virginia could see a surprise of 1 to 3 inches of wet snow. The National Weather Service is only forecasting a few tenths of an inch for Raleigh and Greensboro, enough to coat the ground briefly before melting. But I wouldn't be shocked if that gets exceeded in spots. For eastern North Carolina and southeast Virginia, including the Tidewater and Hampton roads, confidence increases here. Multiple models consistently show accumulating snow for this corridor. Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Newport News, and the Delmarva Peninsula are in a favorable position. The HRRR shows 2 to 3 inches for the Delmarva and Tidewater region. The National Weather Service forecast is similar. This area has the best combination of cold air availability and moisture timing in the Carolinas and Virginia region. For the Washington, D.C. and Baltimore corridor, a few tenths of an inch to perhaps an inch of wet snow is expected. Winter weather advisories are now in effect for the D.C. area. The snow arrives later this morning and continues into the afternoon. Enough to cause some slippery travel, but not a major accumulation event. For Philadelphia, New York City, and the I-95 corridor through the Mid-Atlantic, this system delivers a more significant punch. The National Weather Service is forecasting 4 to 5 inches for New York City. Winter weather advisories extend from Philadelphia through New York and into southern New England. The general expectation along I-95 is 2 to 5 inches of wet snow, with the higher amounts toward the New York metro area and southern New England. For southern New England, including Boston, Providence, Hartford, and Cape Cod, accumulating snow is a certainty. The HRRR shows 2 to 5 inches for most of the region, with someone sneaking around to 6 inches in the Cape and Islands or southeastern Massachusetts. The Patriots are playing the Texans this afternoon in New England, and it could very well be a snow game if you're into that kind of thing. For anyone missing out on snow in your area today, tune into that game for some winter atmosphere. For coastal Maine, the heaviest snow from this system sets up as the storm wraps up the coast. The National Weather Service is actually more bullish on accumulations here than the models, suggesting that coastal Maine could see the highest totals from this system along the entire eastern seaboard. Now let me address something important for everyone watching in the Southeast, particularly in Georgia, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. If you're in an area that's getting snow today, take advantage of it. I know I keep saying this, but it bears repeating. This doesn't happen often. Some of these areas go 5 to 10 years between accumulating snowfall. The kids growing up in Macon or Dothan or Panama City right now have had 2 consecutive January snow events, and they might think this is normal. It absolutely is not. The snow today is going to be that beautiful, wet, heavy snow that's perfect for making memories. Huge cotton ball flakes drifting down. The kind of snow that sticks to everything and turns the world white. It's ideal for snowball fights and building snowmen. But here's the thing, it was 70 degrees in some of these areas yesterday. By this afternoon, temperatures will climb into the 40s and 50s, and melting will begin. If you want to build a snowman and see how long it lasts, do it early. Do it while the snow is still falling or right after it stops. For anyone disappointed by this system, and I know there are many in the Carolinas who fall into that category, take heart. The pattern we're entering for the final 2 weeks of January is absolutely loaded with winter storm potential. Tonight and in the coming days, I'll be diving deep into what's setting up, and what I'm seeing in the extended models is extraordinary. An epic winter storm pattern appears to be developing that could affect the entire eastern half of the country, including the south. The teleconnections are aligning. The MJO is progressing into favorable phases. Arctic air is building and will repeatedly surge southward. The signals for major winter weather around January 26th through the 31st are some of the strongest I've seen at extended ranges. If you're bummed about missing out today, there will be other opportunities. The pattern is far from done delivering winter weather. But for now, for today, this is the storm we have. For those in the snow zone from the Florida Panhandle through Georgia and up the eastern seaboard to Maine, enjoy it. Make the most of it. Get outside and experience it. The mountains of the Appalachians have been both a blessing and a curse for the Carolinas in this event. They're blocking the cold air from efficiently reaching the Piedmont in time to catch the moisture. Cold air damming, which can lock frigid air against the eastern slopes and create snow events for the Carolinas, hasn't materialized with this system. The cold air is being delayed, creating that warm bubble that has frustrated so many forecasters and snow lovers. But the same mountains that robbed the Carolinas today could deliver snow in future events. The pattern ahead favors multiple opportunities. Today's disappointment could become next week's triumph. For now, stay safe if you're traveling in areas where snow is falling. Even an inch or two in the deep south creates hazardous conditions because roads aren't treated and drivers aren't experienced with winter weather. Take it slow. Leave extra space, and remember that bridges and overpasses freeze first. The rest of today will be fascinating to watch as this system evolves. Check back tonight for the evening update, where we'll dive into the remarkable pattern setting up for late January. What's coming could make today's event look like just a warm-up act. Winter is here, and it's just getting started.